Coming up next on Hawaii Now with Congressman Neil Abercrombie.
Everybody take a look at your TV and try to pick out the picture of Neil Abercrombie and his class.
My goodness.
Syndicated radio reporter Mike Evans pulls out some rare photos of the congressman during a wide-ranging interview from boyhood.
Did you ever play any sports?
Oh, yeah. I played football.
Oh, well, there he is.
Oh, my, how did you do all
this? You like that?
Yeah.
Look at
I feel like this is your life or something.
Yeah.
To a University of Hawaii class where a lifelong friendship with the Obama family begins after meeting the father-to-be of the president.
He was so charismatic.
He gets to know a little boy from Hawaii.
I would see Little Barry, as his grandfather called, Little Barry and his grandfather mostly.
Hugs him when he's inaugurated into office.
I had the big Miley.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And so he got a big smile on his face and he said, He said, look who's brought Hawaii to Washington today.
And ends a historical day at a special gathering with the president at the White House.
I was pleased to be included among the friends that were there to say aloha to them and to congratulate them on their first day as President and First Lady.
That and more coming up on Hawaii Now with Congressman Neil Abercrombie and special guest host Mike Evans.
Hi, aloha. I am Mike Evans, syndicated radio reporter and on KSSK every day. And a big treat as we talk to you the day after the inauguration. I get to talk to my personal hero and a hero of many back in Hawaii, Neil Abercrombie. Neil, great to see you.
Michael John Evans.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Aloha.
I don't know where to begin, but rather than talking about various laws and things that you want to get done, I thought maybe the people in Hawaii might need to know a little bit more about Neil Abercrombie, the man. So let's go back to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Buffalo.
You go back to Buffalo.
And I thought we'd have a little game with our listeners.
Sure.
Everybody, take a look at your TV and try to pick out the picture of Neil Abercrombie and his class.
My goodness.
And let's see. Now you got. They all look like you're not on the top row, Neil. I know that. I don't know the kid.
Who's the one that's leaning forward the most?
Kid in the man. That is him. Yes, that's Neil Abercrombie.
My innocent days.
Were you a good student?
Look at my hairline. It was already going back.
Were you a good student in school?
I learned to spell my name early. I thought that was a triumph with 11 letters in your name.
That was tough. And growing up in Buffalo, you couldn't get much different than being in Hawaii. When did you come to Hawaii?
It's a good point, Mike. Yes, it was. When it was cold, it was cold. When it was hot, it was hot. There were no trade winds to make things better. And so I had the chance in 1959 when statehood came to come to Hawaii. I was offered a teaching assistantship in the sociology department at the University of Hawaii. Best thing that ever happened to me.
That's great. 1959 was an exciting time. I was at Hawaii Elementary School marching in the parade the day we became a state.
Well, I was there about 2 weeks later is when I arrived, and not much later than that, President Obama's father arrived.
Yeah, great segue. That's where I was going next. Tell us about your meeting with the president's father, how that came about, and how it played out.
Well, the campus was the same physically, but in terms of numbers, it was a lot smaller. And as it is even today, around the central campus, we had a snack bar there instead of some of the buildings that are there now, and so it was easy to meet him. He was the first African student to come to UH.
Really?
And he was so charismatic. He was so effervescent and full of life, so much vitality that it was very easy to meet him. And he was such an extraordinary human being, so full of energy, so full of views. And it was a college campus. We all knew everything, and were ready to tell everybody about it. So we met him under those circumstances and became fast friends. A whole bunch of people did.
Well, when was the first time you set eyes on Barack Obama?
Well, of course, that was after he was born.
Oh, yeah.
Barack Sr. had met his mom in a Russian class. She was just out of high school, really. And they got married, and with statehood, essentially, within a year or so of statehood, Barack Obama was born. Barack Hussein Obama was born.
Do you remember him growing up?
No, I remember as a little boy with his grandfather, because his mother and father separated.
Right.
That story's pretty well known, and the father went on, Barack Sr. went on to the mainland to go to school, and then back to Kenya, and his mom went on, married again, and in the process, I would see Little Barry as his grandfather called, Little Barry and his grandfather mostly, all over. They walked everywhere. Stan Dunham, his grandfather, took him everywhere, and they met everybody and knew everybody. I mean, it's Hawaii, right? It was easy. You want to be friendly, you want to see people and know people, you can do it. And he did, and Little Barry went with him everywhere.
I was hoping to maybe save the best for last, but it's so exciting to me, and I know our listeners and viewers will want to tell us about last night. There was the inauguration yesterday as we speak. A lot of balls taking place. You, of course, went to the Hawaii balls. It's great Hawaiian entertainers. But how do you top that? What do you do after the ball?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Well, it was wonderful. The Hawaii State folks did a fabulous job. Everybody from Hawaii has connections, family. They put together this ball. And so everybody from Raitai Helm to Eddie Kamai and the Sons of Hawaii, all kinds of entertainers there. Terrific, good time. And then we got invited, Nancy, my wife Nancy and I were invited to go to the White House then after all the balls were over to meet with Barack and Michelle in the main reception room there for a little dessert and aloha. I was pleased to be included among the friends that were there to say aloha to them and to congratulate them on their first day as President and First Lady. And I was pleased earlier in the day to be at the inaugural luncheon, which was the first official duty of the President to be a guest of honor at a luncheon thrown by the House, given by the House and Senate to the new President. And then to be at the last function of the day, just as they were closing up. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. It's always great, when you go to a little event and the band playing is led by Wynton Marsalis. So, it was wonderful.
Absolutely.
We got a picture taken and were able to express our last, before he started his first long day, official day, second official day, but official day of meetings and dealing with all the issues at hand domestically and internationally, to be able to say to him that he had the love and respect of everybody in Hawaii.
It was nice when he came to the States Ball. He came in with a lot of alohas as soon as he walked in. Now, the time before Christmas when Barack was on island, I was on island, and you must be pretty close because I hear you picked him up.
Oh, no, not me.
I heard you were you were
the
there.
Secret Service did that. No. We spoke on the phone, but no. That's strictly.
I'll have to talk to Keith Williams about that.
Maybe it was somebody that looked like me. A poor thing.
But he's a great. He certainly is the most fresh air we've seen in Washington.
No. I was hiding out in Hana. Thank you very much. And although I will say at the event, I couldn't call it an event, at the closing, the little closing reception at the White House last night, Oprah Winfrey was there.
Really?
And I expressed to her and her companion, Stedman, who's a very, very fine, friendly, couldn't be nicer at the end of a long, long day. I said, we missed you in Hana at Christmas, and they got a kick out of that. And so not everybody may know Oprah has some property and a place over in Hana. I don't know how often she gets to visit, but I can certainly understand why they would like to. If people in the spotlight like that, everybody over in Hana, and by the way, a big aloha to everybody in Hana. It's just the greatest place in the whole world, the best people. The Nakaoi, really,
absolutely.
In Hana. Maui may be Nakaoi, but Hana is number one in that category.
Absolutely. Getting away from Barack Obama and finding out more about Neil, you like sports?
Oh, sure.
You have a favorite football team other than UH?
Whoever's the underdog.
Oh, really?
Which usually means UH, but not always. In fact, that's a coincidence, too. I was just talking to Colt Brennan yesterday, and at the ball. He was there, and I was expressing to him that I think they need to get him into that West Coast offense of the Redskins a lot sooner.
I do too.
Than they have. I mean, he's ready for that. That offense would work with him, I think. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, the other Redskins, but that's for him. I think he'd be great in it. And then I saw Heath Schuler today. He's a good friend. Who was a quarterback for the Redskins and is now in the House of Representatives. So Heath and Colt and I are going to get together and have lunch, or maybe go out to dinner and I hope that Heath can give him all the inside scoops on the Redskins and the politics. Politics in here is easy compared to sports politics.
I bet. Now, what about you in sports? Did you ever play any sports?
Oh yeah, I played football
Gee,
back in the days when you could be a 190-pound running guard and actually make the team. So
Gee, I wish we had a picture of Neil. Oh, well, there he is.
Oh,
right
my!
there.
How did you do all this?
You like that?
Yeah.
Look at
I feel
that.
like this is your life or something,
Yeah,
Michael. How did you do that?
You look like you have.
I'll show you how old this picture is. Not only is it the picture's gone. I was looking at, but you see, that was my number was 21. I mean, that was
Wow.
That is another era when you had numbers like that for a running guard. But we had a pretty good football team. We had a spread T offense. So when I say running guard, that meant
running guard.
Pulling all the time.
Pulling the whole time.
Yeah, lots of trap blocking and all the rest of it. It was the only way a guy like me could do it on big tackles.
That is amazing. Coming back to Hawaii, worked at the university. Did you ever think of yourself as maybe becoming a congressman? Was that ever a goal of yours?
It never occurred to me, of course, going all the way to Hawaii, that would happen. I was voting for other people. I cast a vote for Dan Inouye in the first election that he was in.
Wow.
Right? People maybe don't always remember because they think of him as Senator Inouye forever. His first election, of course, was to the House of Representatives. We only had one rep then.
I do remember that.
In those days, yeah. And so it was terrific, and I was happy when the opportunity came to run for the legislature. Although before that, when I was in graduate school, that's my first electoral foray, my little adventure there. When I was a graduate student, I ran for the U.S. Senate because the Vietnam War was on. I was opposed to the war, and I ran as a candidate to try and make that point about the war while I was still in graduate school. But it got me. It wasn't so much that I thought I could win. In fact, I did not win the nomination. C. Seftel, maybe
that's right,
who was just recently with the Board of Education, was the member of Congress who, at the time, and he wanted to ran for that Senate seat in the primary. And of course, he won the primary. But in the course of events, my name got out there a little bit, and some of my views got out there, and people began to get a little idea of the kind of person I was, and apparently not all of them disapproved. And so in 1974, when I got my PhD in American Studies from the UH, I ran for the state legislature and was fortunate enough to win that race.
That Cecil Heftel, I forgot all about it. That he ran. In fact, he owned KSSK at one
He
point.
did indeed. In fact, I picketed KSSK.
I think I remember that.
Well, it wasn't KSSK then, KGMB.
Right.
And to demand a debate, or let's get to the issues and so on and so forth. Because I understood then, and Seesaw has appreciated it. I said, this is show and tell.
Exactly.
You have to have visuals. You have to have people have to understand. You have to dramatize what the issues were. And or if you could, it was to your advantage to do that, because television, by definition, is a medium that shows things.
That's true.
That wants drama, that wants action. Static, the way we are right now, isn't necessarily the most invigorating. But so you have to paint pictures. When we're talking right now, hopefully we're painting a picture for people that they can imagine, and it keeps their attention. But that's what I did. So Cece and I became friends, actually, in the course of that campaign while I ran as hard as I could against him.
Wow. I wish we had a picture of Neil and the checkered cab. That's the first time I remember.
Yes.
Remember you, and you were all over town.
When the cab.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Of course, I had no money. And you couldn't put billboards
True.
anyplace, right? So I kind of invented the traveling billboard.
Oh, it
I
was
think.
great.
Yeah, I had my. I looked over because I thought maybe there'd be a picture of the cab.
I tried to get one. They didn't have one.
Oh, well,
believe it or
that's
not.
strange. It's all over. Anyway, it was a if you remember the television show Taxi.
Sure.
It was a checker cab, a real cab that was made in Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's what they did. They made taxi cabs, and they made them beautifully. I mean, they were beautifully designed, steel, heavy, big, but you could put people in them. And so I picked the cab for two reasons. It was kind of boxy, so
Right.
it gave you an opportunity to paint your picture on the side, put your name. And then the cab symbolized, of course, taxi, symbol of service, right? We'll pick you up. We'll be there. You can count on us.
Perfect.
I'm dependable. It was perfect.
Yeah.
And so people picked up on it and they enjoyed it. And it put a smile on people's faces just like it did when you talked about it. So even to today, I have people come up to me and say, you know, I still have your magnet. Because I made little refrigerators.
I have one of those.
Well, 1986.
Yeah.
That goes all of in the congressional campaign in '86 when I first ran. I got little magnets of the taxi cab with Neil on the side, and people still have them.
Oh, I remember those, absolutely.
I told them it must be worth at least $1.50 on eBay or something.
No, I remember in the mid '80s.
Yeah.
It was, everybody knew Neil Abercrombie because of that taxi. I mean,
I couldn't hide anywhere.
Sometimes troublemaker, but
Troublemaker.
He was someplace somewhere, and
either causing it or solving it.
Exactly. And I really think that people really started paying attention because you seem to be everywhere.
Well, I think for politics today, that's the way it is. You can't just sit back and let people come to you. Particularly in the media world now, I'm doing twittering and jotting and the whole and with emails and faxes, and the faxes almost seem quaint and old-fashioned now.
Yeah, they do.
But the email world, the internet world, websites, broadcasts, YouTube, I get into all of that. I have my own website and so on, just like everybody now. And so the politics, interestingly enough, and you've seen it all for more than a couple of decades now.
True.
Mike, it's really personalized now. People really take an ownership interest, if I can say so, in you, that is far deeper and more personal than any of the old ownership in the sense of lobbyists and advocates for special interests, the usual villains. Now everybody's their own villain.
Exactly, exactly. I was wondering when I was flying over to Washington, D.C., what is a day like for Neil Abercrombie? So what time do you get up? What is your first thing you do in the morning? When are you at the office?
It's not so much when I get up, it's when do I go to sleep.
Is it really?
Yeah,
yeah,
because the 5 to 6 hour time difference, depending on daylight savings, means that when the day is ending, the work day is ending here, my work day in Hawaii still has another half day to go.
Right.
So it can be 6 o'clock on daylight savings, 6 o'clock in the evening here. It's only noon in Hawaii. So I do a lot of my Hawaii work in the evening. Mm-hmm. And I work 2 desks. I have the desk in my office that you saw the other day, and then I work from Kathleen Chapman from Kauai, my blessed right hand. I work from her desk in the evening. Try and do my reading then, and try to do my correspondence and make phone calls.
Wow.
And so I don't get home till quite late generally. And then, or sometimes I have to leave a little early if I have to get milk or something, you know.
Plus, besides doing the business of Hawaii, looking at your subcommittee jobs.
After this
that's
discussion,
unbelievable how many subcommittees you're on.
We're organizing our. I have less now because I'm chairman of the Air and Land Subcommittee on Armed Services, which means the Army and the Air Force. And you can imagine with the deployments going on right now, that's a lot of responsibility. And the Air Force, with the kinds of purchases that have to be done now, the big weapon system, new planes and all that, trying to decide where to go and what to do. We have that jurisdiction in the Armed Services Committee. So, and I have the biggest subcommittee in terms of numbers, Republicans and Democrats. So this afternoon, after this discussion we're having right now, I'll be having my first organizational meeting, and I've got a big packet of things to hand out to everybody. I try to run it, by the way, Mike. I don't run it Republican and Democrat. Obviously, I'm the chairman because the Democrats are in the majority. But my ranking member, which means the highest ranking Republican on there, Roscoe Bartlett from Maryland, very, very fine man. We've been colleagues for a number of years now. I'm happy to say most of the people with whom I share a chairmanship or a ranking membership, which I was when the Republicans were in charge. We've known each other almost 2 decades, some of us here, because this will be my 10th term on the committee, full term on the committee. Everybody's idea counts. I conduct the committee on completely fair basis in this sense, that everybody's word counts. We have different views. We may not win the votes. But no one, I hope, will ever think they were not being treated fairly. In my committees, I tend to start out from the highest ranking member go to the lowest ranking member in order, whether for questioning or anything else in one meeting. Then the next meeting I start at the lowest and I work back up to the highest.
That's fair.
Yeah, go
that's
round
fair.
robin that way.
What is the best part of being a congressman, and the worst part, or your favorite part and your least favorite part?
Okay. Well, the best and favorite aren't necessarily the same. Well, of course, the best part is the really, I was going to say joyous almost, but because that's been in my head and in my heart since I almost said Barack, since President Obama came in, won the election, and of course was sworn in. So the best part, I guess, now is to be a member of Congress from the state where President Obama was born, and to have the opportunity then, as a result, so many people know that they're interested in speaking to you about Hawaii and so on. So representing Hawaii is the best part. I guess the worst part is having to represent Hawaii. That is to say, you can't be in Hawaii. There's a joke up here that when Hawaii became a state, one of the codicils in the Constitution or the Admissions Act was whoever won the election got to stay in Hawaii. Whoever lost whoever came in second had to come up here.
I love it.
But people come from all over the country, obviously, and everybody has their own agenda. And the House of Representatives, in particular, 435 people. So you're not going to come in and tell them what to do. People do things for their reasons, not yours. So what we try to do up here, and I say we because we try to work as a team, both senators and Maisie and I, we try to work as a team. We pay a lot of attention to other people. The best part of the job actually is knowing and learning about so many other people and their needs and desires, in the hopes that when something for Hawaii comes up, that we'll have the goodwill and good opinion of those others. The worst part, of course, is being away.
Oh, yeah.
So you live a kind of bifurcated life.
No more plate lunch.
Yeah, you're here physically because this is where you work. But in your heart and in your mind, you're always in Hawaii. That's why I do a lot of that work at night, because it keeps you connected. And you've seen my office. I try to stay connected with the pictures.
You are. Absolutely.
We have a giant, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful color photo of Kalapapa behind my desk to remind me of...
I like the map of Oahu.
Oh, the map of Oahu. Blaze Domino was kind enough to do a map for me many, many years ago. Not for me. I mean, the maps that he does, actually, that anybody can get. It's terrific. So anything that reminds me of that, and then, of course, the topographical maps and so on. And we have really ancient photos, that is to say, the negatives from the archives of the Corps of Engineers. So I have one photo, the one in the middle over the top of the wall, of Waikiki Beach and Diamond Head. And the photo, the original negative, is from 1890.
Wow.
So I have a pretty good sense in that office of history. Wayne Levin has some beautiful photographs of his underwater photographs of whales and surfers. So there's a lot in there that keeps me grounded.
So you're homesick, but you still have a little bit of home with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In fact, it was nice yesterday, if I might, at the luncheon, Levani Lipton and her mom over in Kailua brought me a Miley Lei to wear at the inauguration. Which I did out in the cold. It was kind of, here I'm bundled up in my overcoat, and I wore it at the luncheon.
I saw you at that luncheon.
Well, and then when Barack came up to shake hands with everyone, when President Obama came up to shake hands with everybody and say hello, Bobby Titcomb and his wife Jennifer were there at the table, and Maya Ng and Conrad Ng were his sister and brother-in-law were at the other table. So I mean, there was a lot of family as well as cabinet people and so on there. I had the big Miley.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And so he got a big smile on his face, and he said, he said, look who's brought Hawaii to Washington today, which was, was a very sweet thing to say, a very kind. He's just terrific. He's going to just change this country and change the world, no doubt about it in my mind.
Oh, that's
but that was part of the Hawaii thing, the Miley.
It's very exciting for all of us. And we have a few minutes left, and I want to talk a little bit about Neil, the personal guy. Now, I see Nancy at the Elks Club occasionally.
Yes, my wife. Yeah, she loves it down there.
It's great.
Yeah.
Is it
the Elks? It's just terrific, and they're doing so well now You're at the Elks Club, right, Mike?
Right.
They're doing real well now because, of course, they put it to the outrigger right next door on the lease rent, right?
I'm glad you said it, not me. I was going to say they're making really nice changes thanks to the outrigger.
Yes, well, we all know about lease negotiations and renewals, right? So anyway, the Elks Club is really coming up now in terms of refurbishment and so on, and the ocean there is a lot of fun. She loves swimming in the ocean.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
When you get home, what do you like to do when you get home?
Walk my dog.
Tell us about your dog.
Oh, our dog.
Let me guess. He said S. Maybe it's a Sheltie, but I would have guessed you for.
No.
I would have guessed you for maybe a little bigger dog. But
No. We love the Shelties.
Good.
The Shetland sheepdog. Although we managed to say a little bit bigger, though we have the world's largest female Sheltie. She's bigger than the male dogs.
Really? Two different color eyes?
No. Those are the.
Is part of that family at all?
Yeah, I mean you've got the sables and the tricolors and the I forgot the blue merles.
That's what they are. Yeah.
And they're often their eyes are different colors. They're great dogs, herding dogs. Of course, that means she herds us. We're her herd.
And where do you walk the dog?
Oh, all over. We go down in Kapiolani Park, up in Manoa Park. All around the Manoa neighborhood. I mean, there's a whole crew of us out there. There's the whole dog walking. Don't fool with the dog walkers and the
you pick
dog
up after the dog, don't you?
Oh yes,
huh?
yes.
We're going to play in our last 2 minutes together. Let's play word association.
Oh boy,
I love doing this. First thing.
I bet you do.
First thing's in your mind. I probably like it more than you, but you'll like
sure
this.
You
like this. Okay. We'll start off with Barack Obama.
Yeah. Hope.
Honolulu.
City lights.
Old Hawaii.
Don Ho and the Surfers.
Oh, I love that.
The first group I heard the Surfers at a place called Dolan's, right at the end of Kalakau Avenue. Almost the first day I was there, and the Surfers, they set the tone, no pun intended, of close harmony. That, of course, Dolan's is no longer there. A lot of things are no longer there. I think of old Hawaii that way. I guess I think about the Royal Hawaiian.
Okay.
Then, because it's been restored now, I'm happy to say.
It's gonna, yeah, absolutely. Just a couple more. Malasadas.
Leonard's.
Oh, I knew that was coming. Honolulu International Airport.
The Short Snorter Bar.
Ooh.
Back in the old days when you just get right off the plane, walk down, they roll out the stairs and you walk down in the Short Snorter Bar. It was so crowded all the time there that you'd order a drink and the drink would go one going up and they'd say how much it was and it'd come back and you'd put the 20 up and it'd go through about 10 people and the change would come back.
I love it.
I mean, those days are gone.
I love it. Neil, I've known you off and on since the early 80s. It was a pleasure to see Barack Obama become our 44th president. And almost as much of a pleasure to come and visit you in your backyard here. And from all the people that I talked to in Hawaii, they just love the job that you're doing. They've been a long time you've been here, and we all respect and look up to you. And we certainly want to wish you the very best. And we hope to see you doing more exciting things in time to come.
Well, maybe we will, but don't forget one thing, Mike. Us short guys stick together, right?
We have to. We have to, absolutely.
A hui ho.
Mahalo nui loa hui ho. Thank you very much. Neil Abercrombie, you are a local Hawaiian favorite.
Thanks so much, Mike.